Welcome back to Collectability. Today we're going to attempt to do something quite special and very useful for many of you out there, and that is how to fill your Patek Philippe lighter using butane. This was a question that has come up many times over the last few months. I've sold a number of lighters, and there are a number of Patek Philippe lighters in the world, of the 200 that were made, that people desperately need to know how to fill their lighter with butane. One of the first things you're going to learn about Patek Philippe lighters is they're quite finicky and they need to be sent to service quite often. So when we get one back from Patek Philippe service, one of the first things we want to do is to see if it works and then fill it with some fuel. Before we begin, I encourage all of you to visit collectability.com to read a detailed article on the history of these lighters. It's quite interesting to learn how they were made by Colibri, specifically for Patek Philippe, and also learning about the shape, the case, the size, and what makes a Patek Philippe lighter so special. All right, so here we begin. I received this back from Patek Philippe USA. And as you know, when you get something back from Patek Philippe service, it's quite exciting. Well, of course, beyond the bill, it costs $1,073 to service this lighter. But they told me something very important. They said there is no detection of leakage anymore, but the gas flow is rather strong. We're going to find out if that's true or not. So they repaired the lighter, and now we're going to see what just came back from Patek Philippe. So I'll take out the service box. It's interesting, they do wrap them in plastic. These are done in Geneva. And for those of you that have received something back from service, it's always quite difficult to know whether or not you should open it. But in this case, we're going to cut the seal and look inside. So we do the ceremonial cutting. And for the first time, this lighter made in 1978 is going to have a new life. It has the number of the lighter here in this tag. All right. So now, once they come back from service, it's hit or miss whether or not it has any fuel in it. So I'm going to open it, and we'll see if we can get anything to work. This has no gas in it. So that's why we're here today, to fuel this up. Now, it's very tricky to open these lighters, and you can see this, it looks like a giant screw on the bottom, because that has a rubber gasket that seals the fuel in it. So we have to open up this access panel to start. Originally, Colibri supplied this plastic tool where you could twist and open the bottom of the lighter. I've been unable to find one of those, so we're going to have to make one. I was trying to find something that has the right shape and contour, and interestingly, the handy dandy collar stays might do the trick. So I have two collar stays. I've wrapped them in plastic, and we're going to see if this can open the bottom of this lighter. Seems to be about the same shape, so I'm twisting. Ah, beautiful. It's opening right up, and most importantly, I'm not scratching anything. Okay, so once that comes out, you can see that Patek Philippe put a new gasket, and we are ready to fuel it up. A few notes about the danger that we're about to enter. Butane is not a safe fuel. It is something that could cause, and I've checked online for this, so this information is real. It can cause euphoria, drowsiness, unconsciousness, asphyxia, cardiac arrhythmia, fluctuations in blood pressure, and temporary memory loss when abused directly or indirectly from a highly pressurized container. Furthermore, it could result in death or ventricular fibrillation. So I want you to know that this is a very volatile substance, and it's very, very concerning to know that butane is highly abused in the world today. So today we're going to keep things safe. If you do this at home, make sure you have adult supervision. All right, so now that we have the bottom of this lighter open, we can take out our butane, and this is the Green Series DuPont. And you'll notice it has almost a lip that goes into the bottom of the lighter. It's important to hold the lighter downward because the butane has to go into the tank. So you just twist it in, and you'll see it'll catch. It's a little click, and it's all the way in. And now I'm going to attempt to push this down while holding the lighter to see if the fuel goes in it. And you'll hear that sound. Butane is all over the place. But I could feel it filling the tank. A trick is you have to bend it at an angle in order for the butane to go into the lighter. And it gets very, very uncomfortably cold. Usually this takes about a minute or two. Is this the best TV you've watched in a while or not? Still filling. While we're waiting, a few months ago we did a video on changing batteries in a Patek Philippe Naviquartz clock. That was also engaging TV, so we just had to top it with this filming. All right, I could tell feels like it's an ice cube. So we're going to take the butane canister off, and then we find the cover, carefully place it back on. Take your collar stay tool, and we twist it back into place. It's important when closing this lighter that you match the contour of the actual lighter. It's amazing. This screw cover has the curvature of the bottom of the ellipse built into it. So if it's a little askew, you could tell. Another trick I've learned is make sure to wipe off all of the extra butane that's on the outside of the lighter, or you're going to have a mess on your hands and a fireball, which you may or may not want to have. All right. You should wait a minute or two for the butane to reach room temperature again, because right now this is as cold as ice. But we'll just give it a moment, and then we're going to fast forward and try to light this. We're going to now find if that fuel actually went into the tank of this lighter. Hey, that made my day. And then this is to adjust the flame. Finally, it's working, but I don't smoke, so we're gonna close it up. I guess I really didn't need that flame after all that anyway. But these are one of the most whimsical, impractical, and desirable of all Patek Philippe non-watch items. This is a bit of history, a bit of ephemera, and it is a must-have for your Patek Philippe Ellipse collection. I hope this video is helpful to you, well, at least entertaining, because you never actually own a Patek Philippe lighter. You merely wait for it to come back from service. And here we have some extra bonus content that you can't live without, and that is how to change a flint with a Patek Philippe lighter. When you open it up, you'll see it has these ridges, which is to basically use your finger to push until it clicks. And then this bit here, sorry I don't know the correct nomenclature, hinges open as so. Once this is open, you can see the flint canister in blue, which is easily purchased today at a tobacco shop near you. And you can see how this steel cylinder is simply what you're engaging in order to give friction on the flint to cause that flame. So once the flint is in position, you can close this and it snaps back into place. It's spring loaded and you are ready to go.